Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is May 1st, Rabbit, 2018, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, with photos from the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management, firefighters battling a wildfire in north central Arizona were hampered Monday by strong winds and dry conditions as residents of surrounding communities remained out of their homes for another day. Authorities said some homes were lost as the wildfire consumed almost 14 square miles in north central Arizona, about an hour south of Flagstaff. Crews on Monday were assessing exactly how many structures have burned, but estimated about 30. About half of Arizona is in the worst two categories of drought, a stark change from a year ago when only some areas were characterized as abnormally or moderately dry. The wildfire in Arizona is one of the most active in the country, according to the National Interagency Fire Center. Weather forecasters have warned the fire season will be dangerous and life-threatening. The wildfire started late last week, spotted from a watchtower overlooking the Coconino National Forest. It's expected to grow significantly, pushed by strong southwest winds to the northwest. The fire behavior should slow once it hits pinyon and juniper trees, which don't hold heat as long as ponderosa pines, Fire Information Officer Brian Scott said. Officials aren't sure when residents will be allowed to return home. Winds were slightly calmer Monday than over the weekend, but firefighters won't get much relief until a storm moves in today and into Wednesday, National Weather Service meteorologist Tim Steffen said.
From the Telluride Daily Planet, PhotoCredit, MapLog, and FEMA, while Thursday unfolded under beautiful spring skies and mild temperatures, the Mountain Village Town Council took a gloom and doom approach at its monthly meeting. Appearing early on the agenda was adoption of the San Miguel County All-Hazard Mitigation Plan, whose stated purpose is, quote, to reduce and eliminate losses from natural and man-made hazard events and to better protect the people and property of the county from the effects of hazard events. According to Jennifer Dinsmore at the Sheriff's Office, the plan was completed in January and recently approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. With FEMA's okay, the plan was sent out to all participating jurisdictions for adoption. The plan lists the region's high-risk hazards as flooding, wildfire, drought, extreme winter weather, critical infrastructure failure, and landslide, rockslide, debris flow. Officials consider wildfire a significant threat to the county because of more development in forested areas and with increased drought conditions in 2017-18. Still, wildfire never kills people in the area covered in the plan. Extreme winter weather does, which the plan explains thusly. Avalanches have been responsible for more lives lost than any other recent hazard, but this is primarily due to unwise backcountry travel. As the 237-page all-hazard mitigation plan notes, problems associated with the severe weather and extreme winter weather occur almost every year. The technological impacts of severe winter weather, power loss, internet loss, etc. will be prevalent issues for citizens moving forward. Appendix 1 of the plan is titled Mitigation Action Work Plan and describes what each local entity should do to better prepare for disaster. In general, the most rural part of the county, the Egner-Slick Rock Fire Protection District, remains the most vulnerable to an emergency since it suffers extremely heavy forest fire fuel loads, a lack of hazmat personnel, poor mapping of roads, and many areas where there's no cell service, so communication is poor or non-existent. Though Mountain Village largely avoids those problems, the plan did note the town's vulnerability to flood and fire. When the time came to discuss the plan and how it related to Mountain Village, council members seemed most concerned with wildfires, especially given this year's exceptional drought conditions. Since it's too late to build a moat around the gleaming bedroom community, Mountain Villagers turned its attention to the evacuations mandated by a perilous fire. Councilman Dan Jensen then recalled his previous business experience with disaster preparedness. "I was once considering investing in emergency kits," Jensen said. "There was research at the time that showed 90% of people believe emergency kits are a good idea and everyone should own them, but only 10% of people actually do." Council members and town staff briefly discussed their satisfaction with the code red notification method for emergencies and then adopted unanimously the San Miguel County All-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
According to the Cortez Journal, authorities say a man accused of killing a 13-year-old boy who endured years of abuse is dead as a result of what appears to have been a suicide at the Santa Fe County Jail. District Attorney Marco Cerna said 42-year-old Thomas Wayne Ferguson was found dead in custody Saturday morning. He was awaiting trial on murder and other charges on the January death of Jeremiah Valencia. County Sheriff Robert Garcia said it was his understanding that jail staff discovered Ferguson had hung himself, the Santa Fe New Mexican reported. Cerna said his office will continue to aggressively prosecute the co-defendants. They are the boy's mother, Tracy Ann Pena, age 35, and Ferguson's son, Jordan Anthony Nunez, age 19. Police said Ferguson brutally beat the Nambe teen to death while Pena was in jail on a warrant for failing to appear in court. The boy's body was found buried along a rural highway. Authorities did not discover his body until 2 months after his estimated death in November because no one reported Valencia as missing. All three are jailed on suspicion of child abuse resulting in death, tampering with evidence, and conspiracy to commit tampering with evidence.
From the Journal out of Dolores, photo credit Emily Rice, a group has turned in its petitions to recall Dolores School Board President Dee Prock and Board Member Vanjie McCoy, according to the Montezuma County Clerk's and Recorder's Office. Purcell wrote in an email to the Journal last Thursday, quote, "We have only begun the review process. Our office will have 15 business days to complete the petition review and issue the statement of sufficiency or insufficiency." Purcell would not say how many names were filed on the petition. The petition claims that Prock and McCoy have failed to follow transparency policies and have contributed to a decline in student performance in Dolores School District RE4A. The county has until May 16th to verify that the petition signatures are valid and registered voters. The clerk's verification is then followed by a 15-day protest period in which the incumbents can challenge Purcell's sufficiency statement. Quote, "Then the incumbent has 5 days to resign before setting an election date for the recall," Purcell said. Prock was appointed in 2014 to a 4-year term and will be up for re-election in 2019. In an emailed response to the Journal on April 4th, she supported the recall process, saying, "Participating in a recall is part of our individual rights. I embrace that," Prock wrote. "The members of the school board are volunteers and have an obligation to learn and work together for the benefit of our students. I am confident that this board, the school, and the community have a shared enthusiasm for providing a safe and quality learning environment for our school." McCoy was appointed to the Dolores School Board in 2009, and her term will expire in 2019. The Journal was unable to reach McCoy for comment.
According to the Durango Herald, with a photo courtesy of David Torres, a 35-year-old man was arrested on first-degree assault charges after hitting another man in the back of the head with the butt of a pellet gun at the homeless camp behind the Durango Tech Center, according to authorities. Chris Burke, spokesman for the La Plata County Sheriff's Office, said officers were dispatched to the temporary homeless camp around 12:10 a.m. Monday on reports of a physical disturbance. Burke said the victim originally reported to authorities he had been shot in the back of the head. Instead, it turned out he was hit in the back of the head with the butt of a pellet gun. Burke said the victim, identified as Russell Gosnell, age 51, was intoxicated at the time of the incident. He was taken to Mercy Regional Medical Center and later released. The cause of the disturbance remained under investigation, Burke said. Both people involved in the incident are homeless residents. It was unclear if the suspect was intoxicated at the time. Officers arrested the suspect, Richard Foysel, on charges of first-degree assault. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Outlook again shows the high-pressure system over most of the eastern half of the U.S., keeping things warmer and dry with some rain in southern Florida. Texas and the Gulf Coast area is hanging on to some of the thunderstorms from yesterday, while most of the brunt of rains and severe thunderstorms remains over the Central Plain states and up through the Midwest and Great Lakes region. The set of 2 low-pressure fronts is bringing the mix of thunderstorms and snow-rain mix potential through throughout the Rockies and Intermountain West, with now Arizona and New Mexico preparing for potential thunderstorms as well. Regionally, as unsettled weather continues over the region on Tuesday, expect high temperatures to drop by another 5 degrees. A second wave of low pressure is expected to arrive on Tuesday night, bringing precipitation chances back to the mountains and even over the lower valley locations on Wednesday afternoon. That's good news for our region. The hazardous weather outlook states some light precipitation is expected across the northern and central portions of the forecast area, with scattered thunderstorm development by afternoon. Dry and breezy conditions will occur across the Four Corners valleys this afternoon until moisture increases this evening, allowing for increasing shower activity. Snowfall will begin over the San Juans late this evening, with periods of heavy precipitation overnight. Widespread valley rain and high elevation snow will occur Wednesday as a storm system tracks across the region. Snowfall accumulations will favor the San Juans, with 5 to 10 inches expected through Wednesday night. Other mountain areas will see much less snowfall as temperatures remain fairly mild, with roughly 2 to 4 inches possible. The focus will shift towards the southwest Colorado mountains down to Vail Pass Wednesday evening through Thursday morning as the system exits to the plains, where travel impacts and decent snow accumulations are possible. Then a dry and warming trend is in store for Friday into the weekend, with temperatures warming back to a few degrees above normal. Some afternoon thunderstorms are possible over the higher terrain each day. On to our local TCTV 5-day outlook. Today, scattered showers, mainly after 5 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 58. Breezy with a south wind 15 to 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 30. Chance of precipitation is running around 30%. Tonight, rain showers likely before 3 a.m. and then rain and snow showers likely. Cloudy with a low around 38 degrees, breezy, and remember breezy means up to 31 miles an hour. South winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Chance of precipitation increases to 60%. However, little or no snow accumulation is expected. Wednesday, scattered rain and snow showers before 8 a.m., then scattered rain showers. Some thunder is also possible. Cloudy with a high near 52 degrees. South winds around 15 miles an hour, and the chance of precipitation is 50%. Again, little or no snow accumulation expected. Wednesday night, a chance of rain showers before midnight, then a chance of rain and snow showers. Some thunder is also possible, which is odd to me to predict just thunder, as thunder is noted as the sound happening from the pressure changes accompanying the electrical charge sequence we call lightning. But anyway, mostly cloudy with a low around 33 degrees. Overnight, south-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. The chance of precipitation goes to 40%. And then Thursday, a slight chance of rain and snow showers before 9 a.m. and then a slight chance of rain showers. Some thunder is also possible. Partly sunny with a high near 59 degrees. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming north-northwest in the afternoon, and the chance of precipitation drops to just 20%. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 36. Heading into the weekend, it clears up as Friday it's forecast sunny with a high near 67. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 41. Saturday, sunny with a high near 72. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 44. And Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 76 degrees. Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 48. And now, back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo from Colorado Parks and Wildlife, a coalition of conservation groups that sued to list the Gunnison sage grouse as an endangered instead of threatened species has reached an agreement with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The parties agreed to stay the lawsuit while Fish and Wildlife prepares a recovery plan for the rare bird, which is known for its elaborate courtship rituals. The Center for Biological Diversity, Western Watersheds Project, and Wild Earth Guardians filed the lawsuit in 2015 after the bird was listed as a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act in November 2014. An estimated 4,000 birds exist, mostly within the Gunnison Valley, with smaller populations near Dove Creek and in southeast Utah. The stay agreement maintains the bird's threatened status and establishes a 30-month timeline for Fish and Wildlife to develop a recovery plan. Current listing and critical habitat rules will remain in place. An endangered species is one that is deemed in danger of becoming extinct. A threatened species is one that is rare and may become an endangered species in the future. The agreement says the recovery plan should identify impediments to recovery and possible ways to reach recovery, establish population targets, and include criteria that may result in removing the bird from protection under the Endangered Species Act, detail all threats to the bird and identify site-specific management actions to minimize threats, consider the impact of livestock grazing on the grouse and identify management actions to minimize the impacts, release a draft recovery plan to the public for review by October 2019, and submit a final recovery plan to the Federal Register by October 2020. Habitat loss due to residential growth, grazing, and oil and gas development are believed to harm grouse populations, along with predation and climate change.
From the Journal, AP Photo, Colorado teachers are protesting this week for higher salaries and increased money for schools, prompting questions about why the state's booming marijuana sales have not fixed the funding problems. The 2012 voter-approved constitutional amendment that allowed adults to buy marijuana got a boost from a commitment to send millions of dollars to Colorado schools, but that requirement amounts to less than 2% of the state's multi-billion-dollar education budget, and other marijuana taxes don't make up the shortfall between what schools need and the state money they get. There's a 15% excise tax charge when marijuana is sold by a grower to a retail store or a business that makes products like candies, lotion, or wax that can be smoked or vaporized. It is based on the state's calculation of the average market rate for recreational marijuana. Medical pot is not subject to the tax. This is passed along as customers then pay a 15% sales tax when buying recreational marijuana or products. People buying medical marijuana or products are only charged the state's general 2.9% sales tax, plus any local sales taxes. The marijuana amendment that voters approved required the first $40 million in taxes on wholesale marijuana to go into a fund for school construction or maintenance. Dividing up the state sales taxes on marijuana gets more complicated. 10% automatically goes to local governments. A $30 million contribution to a state public school fund controlled by the Department of Education also is required. Starting this fiscal year, the department will distribute that money to all school districts. In the past, the money could only go to rural school districts. About 72% of the remaining sales taxes go into a fund for various programs on substance abuse prevention and treatment, health care, and health education. The Education Department can apply for a share of that money, but competes with other agencies. The remaining 15.5% of marijuana sales taxes goes into the state's general fund. However, superintendents have described the marijuana taxes that flow to schools as a drop in the bucket. While the Department of Revenue reported a record $1.5 billion in marijuana sales last year, the state collected about $247 million in taxes and fees. That's far lower than the $822 million that Colorado underfunds its schools by each year. The 2017 state budget provided $5.6 billion for K-12 education that went to the Education Department, Charter School Institute, and the Colorado School of the Deaf and Blind. Marijuana tax revenue provided $90.3 million of that total, or about 1.6%. Public school districts and charter schools can apply for a portion of the $40 million designated for school construction or maintenance each year. Schools report that their needs far exceed that amount. According to a statewide assessment, schools had about $18 billion in capital construction needs through the end of this year.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with photos from David Harasmetchuk with Freshwaters Illustrated. Any great fishing hole depends on the health and well-being of its bugs. In a key stretch of the Colorado River, below a dam on the Arizona-Utah border, anglers have been pulling out long, skinny trout that don't give up much of a fight with a hook in their mouths. Turns out they don't have enough to eat, scientists say. Researchers with the U.S. Geological Survey are hoping a months-long experiment to release low, steady flows of water from Glen Canyon Dam will give the eggs that bugs lay just below the water's surface a better chance at survival. It starts this weekend. Scientists are anticipating a 26% increase in black flies and midges by next summer and the eventual return of bigger bugs seen in other stretches of the Colorado River that largely have disappeared from the prized fishery known as Lee's Ferry. When insects thrive, so do fish, bats, birds, and other predators, scientists say. Insects attach their eggs to hard surfaces like rocks, wood, or cattails near the river's shore. Fluctuations in the water for hydropower create artificial tides that can expose the eggs and dry them out. If they're not underwater within an hour, they die, said Jeff Muehlbauer, a research ecologist with the Geological Survey. The so-called bug flows are part of a larger plan approved in late 2016 to manage operations at Glen Canyon Dam, which holds back Lake Powell. The plan allows for high flows to push sand built up in Colorado River tributaries through the Grand Canyon, as well as other experiments with the flow that could help non-native trout.
From the San Juan Record out of Blanding, Utah, an exciting new concert is coming to San Juan County. A day-long country music festival will be starting this fall. Called Canyon Country Music Experience, it will be holding its first annual concert on September 15th in Blanding. This event will feature 4 different country music artists. The concert will be hosted in part to raise money for worthwhile causes in their community. This year, a portion of proceeds will go to support San Juan High School student activities. Black Hawk will headline the show. They are a country rock band founded by Henry Paul, Van Stevenson, and Dave Robbins back in 1992. Black Hawk has sold over 7 million albums, has 19 Billboard hits including Every Once in a While, There You Have It, I Sure Can Smell the Rain, and I'm Not Strong Enough to Say No, which has over 3 million YouTube views. After losing Stevenson to melanoma, Black Hawk continues to make music saying, "We owe it to the music, we owe it to ourselves and Van, and we owe it to the fans." Black Hawk's most recent album was dropped in 2014 titled Brothers of the Southland. They will be taking a big tour detour to visit San Juan County. Joining Black Hawk, Canyon Country Music Experience will be adding James Otto and Ty Herndon to the lineup. Otto is most popularly known for his single Just Got Started Loving You, which topped country charts in 2008. Otto also brags Billboard hits of his own, such as Shake What God Gave Ya and Sunset Man, which sat on the chart for 75 weeks and peaked at number 2. Herndon topped charts with singles such as I Want My Goodbye Back, Loved Too Much, and Hands of a Working Man, but many know him for Living in a Moment. Herndon's most recent album, House on Fire, was released in November of 2016. CCME will also be welcoming Pat Swenson to their stage. Swenson is an LDS country artist who was nominated for New Best Utah Artist last year. His single, Bleeding, was also nominated for Single of the Year. Blanding Mayor Joe B. Lyman is putting the event together and is excited to make it an annual event scheduled to follow the annual ATV Safari to tag on to the end of those festivities. Tickets will be going on sale within the next month.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of April 23rd through the 29th. Received reports of rocks in the road in the southbound lane out of the airport. Dispatch turned it over to another agency. Received a report of a non-injury car versus deer accident. Sheriff's Office received calls of cows being out on County Road 6. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings, May 4th, it's Friends of the Library book sale in Mancos. Mancos Friends of the Library will be selling books for $1 a pound, and every 5th book is free. Stock up for all summer reading, and all proceeds will go to support the Mancos Public Library and its programs. May 4th, Josh Standard will be playing live at the Wild Edge Brewing Collective from 7 to 9 p.m. in Cortez on North Market Street. The notice says here, Josh Standard serenades us again with his blend of blues, bluegrass, and Americana. Show starts at 7 p.m., but they start pouring beer at 2. Don't miss out on a night of great music, great beer, and great people. May 5th, there's a paint and sip party with Breezy Beckler offered at the Cortez Cultural Center from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets are available through the center or on Eventbrite. It's $28 for members and $35 for non-members. For more information on all that's happening at the center, go online to cortezculturalcenter.org or call them at 970-565-1151. And all of these happenings are posted on our social media site on Facebook, DCTV News at Noon, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.